Welcome to another Keelhauled podcast. I'm your host, Captain Logun, and we've got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to cover today. So tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good week and a good weekend. I know I did. This week, we're going to be talking about the latest event from Sea of Thieves and Rare, as well as some other stuff that's coming up with the latest update that's going to be shipping on the 24th. All that and more in this week's episode of Keelhauled Podcast. But before I get into any of that, I have to thank the patrons. They were the ones that went over to patreon.com/Keelhauled Podcast to support this content. And many of you are ensuring that you have the opportunity to join in on the community episode, which is actually going to be this week. So if you guys have any questions, concerns, you can always reach out to me about that. But it is going to be April 26th. It is going to be at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 9 p.m. British Summertime, or GMT, I believe it is at the moment. So if you guys have any questions, concerns, comments, just definitely feel free to let me know. But I always like to call out the patrons for supporting, because it means a lot to me that they do so. I've seen a lot of you guys over on Twitch as well, and I see you in the comments on YouTube as well. So I always appreciate you guys coming over and engaging with the content. It helps out with that whole algorithm thing that I really don't like, but it's just part of the thing. So you figure after 7 years, I'd figured this stuff out, but I don't know. I just kind of like talking to you all about this stuff. So before I get into the news, I got to shout out the patrons. So let's thank A-Chick, L-Cute, Balls, Blue Turtle V1, Captain Chonky, Captain Longsharts, Chopper 918, Chateau Noof, Super Pack, Zombie Killer, Cosmic Johnson, Static Mirror, Davram TV, El Jefe Esteban, Godhammer 6, Carl Embo, Kylia the Aficionado, Evil Morpheus, Space Admiral Ors, Xbox Mike 29, Rabid Raccoon, Regis Stella the Brony Pirate, Ribloid, Rustbelt Kid, Shoe Daddy 13, Scumelt 666, The Demon Jester, Tommy D, TN Professor, Vibralux, Wailing Witch, Big Bad Pad, Mina Fairy, The Lore Chronologist Deadeye Dre, Hager Owl, Jeff H, Captain Duckweed, Evil Martha, Peter Miller, Rooski Doo, Thor Von Blitz, Luke Lore the Insipid Ghost, and Zam Wow. Thank you all so much for your love, for your support. It really does help and mean the world to me. So always, as I always say, take care of yourself before you take care of anyone else. When it comes to like podcasts, things like that, support, really just make sure you're solid. I'll make sure I'm solid. This is all just to help take care of the cost of podcasting and help with, I don't know, in case something happens, who knows? But anyway, let's get into it. First on today's docket, I want to talk about the Mega Stashes event. This has been going on from April 17th through to April 24th. I'm very happy with this event so far. I think this has been great. So if you're not quite familiar, let me break it down for you. Skeleton Forts and Fort of Fortunes all have an opportunity to spawn 15 Ashen Pirate Legend chests. That's right, 15 Ashen Legend chests, not just regular chests, Ashen ones. And this percentage does go down when you do a dive to raid to a skeleton fort. Doesn't matter what reputation you dive to, but I would recommend going with Athena's Fortune. This event has been going on for a while. It has been so popular, in fact, that people are running into queues when they are doing dive to skeleton fort voyages. So some people are reporting anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. I don't know if this is what more people are experiencing now, as it is a holiday weekend for most folks, and most people generally have either Friday or Monday off. But I am very impressed that this event has drawn so much attention. I myself had sailed around over, I think it was, I want to say it was like Thursday or Friday night, and was able to complete 3 forts. You do have to complete 5 forts to be able to get the new mustache cosmetic that was released as part of this. So I really like that they've done this. The Stash Seeker's mustache, it only requires you to do 5. And with the percentage chance on this, I think they've done a really good job. I personally have not seen 15 chests for the Ashen Legend chests, but I have seen a lot of people getting them. And it's wild to me because I feel like every single fort that I've done so far has been contested, which normally is not the case. You generally do not get to have or uncontested forts. Fort of Fortunes, that's one thing. Chest of Fortunes in there right now, so makes sense. I fought 2 hours for a chest of fortune the other day and managed to complete a Fort of Fortune, and with a chicken we managed to get 2 ships that were coming back to us quite often, and even doing things like rowboat plays and tucking, still managed to clear out the fort and get all of the treasure before diving to another fort, skeleton fort. A lot of this is just by chance. So if you happen to be on a server that you're happy with, you can always push world events. Otherwise, you can always dive to them. It doesn't really seem to make too much sense. So I had a bit of logic that I was working out through this. So right now, if the queues are still bad, then I would say your best bet is to still queue up for a dive to a skeleton fort, because hear me out. If you have world events on a server that you're working towards, there's no guarantee that the next world event will be a skeleton fort. So you're not sure that you're going to be getting a skeleton fort. Also, if it does pop up with a skeleton fort, one of 2 things can happen. Either it can be a natural skeleton fort, which is just part of the rotation for the world events, or the world event goes down and it pops up a skeleton fort, and that skeleton fort is actually one that someone had been diving to, which means they'll show up there first and be whatever loot they would be getting if for whatever the reputation was that they did a dive to. So if they did a dive to Hunter's Call, then if they didn't get the mega stashes loot, then it would just be Hunter's Call stuff, right? So you're already kind of battling like the world event rotation. Like you're not sure if it's a natural skeleton fort or someone that someone is like queued up to dive to one. If you're pushing world events, that on top of the fact that this is going to be 15 Ashen Legend chests makes you want to push towards doing Athena's Fortune on these. If you go with Athena's Fortune for your trade emissary, you're going to get the most value out of that, right? Reapers would probably be the other side of this. But you're already kind of like pushing it with how much attention you want if you're doing a skeleton fort, because these have all been contested in my experience. So the best bet from my perspective is go ahead and do a dive to an Ashen or an Athena's Fortune skeleton fort. You may run into a queue, but chances are that queue will be shorter. You'll arrive to the skeleton fort immediately. And even if it isn't the Ashen Pirate Legend chests or the Ashen Chest of Legends, it will still be some Athena Fortune so that it will work towards your emissary grade, right? So those are my opinions. If you're not going to go Reapers, go Athenas. I can't see why anyone would need to, unless you're actually trying to like min max all reputations and you're trying to work on like Order of Souls or Hunter's Call right now, stuff like that. Chances are Athena's probably going to be the better bet for this. I've had pretty good time on the seas. You know, things have been contested, but things haven't been toxic, which has been nice. And I haven't really run into too many people that felt like there was some shady stuff going on, like it didn't feel right kind of thing. So all in all, I would say this has definitely been a fantastic event for Rare. I've seen a lot more people going after skeleton forts, like sailing to skeleton forts as opposed to just ignoring the world event and doing their own thing than ever before. Even I think the last time I've seen this kind of contention on world events was with either the Burning Blade when it first came out, the Skull of Siren Song when that first came out, or the launch of the Chest of Fortune when Fort of Fortunes had first kicked off. Those are like the last few times I could point to and say like these were highly contested all the time during that thing. So from my perspective, Rare, this is a success. This is a successful event, aside from the queues, which need to be addressed. Somehow managing to make it easier for people to dive to skeleton forts for a chance, which goes back to one of the changes that they made quite a while ago when they said, hey, we're gonna change things up on skeleton forts. We're gonna make it so you can no longer look into skeleton forts so that you can see what the loot is. And this is why. I originally suspected that they wanted to have a percentage chance for a chest of fortune to spawn inside skeleton forts, so that if you saw a skeleton fort, one of the ways that you could bring interest back to them is if there was a percentage chance that they would have a chest of fortune in them. Obviously, doing a dive 2 would have lower chances, much like with how this event is set up, because they're on demand as opposed to naturally occurring. But from my perspective, I think it's fantastic. I think this is a great way. 15 Ashen Chest of Legends is quite a haul. That is a lot of gold. And having them do it for a week as opposed to a weekend ensures that you're going to have people who are able to work on them over time, as opposed to forcing people to, especially on a holiday weekend, trying to decide if they're going to spend time with friends and family or going outside and enjoying the weather, or if they're going to be at home grinding these with everyone else and getting super sweaty. So I appreciate this. It's going to be a lot easier for folks to get some of these knocked out, especially because you do need to do 5 of them. Having till Thursday of the following week to be able to accomplish that, much easier for folks who have limited play time. And I appreciate that. It kind of goes back to how we used to do stuff. And I think that is a much nicer way to go about it, because at the end of the day, what is the difference between a weekend versus an entire week? Is it really going to impact the economy of the game that much? I don't think so. So I appreciate that. And also the Stash Seeker's Mustache is really cool looking. I really like it. I've seen a lot of folks wearing it and putting it out there. I think last episode I said it looked like Mario. It doesn't. It looks like Snidely Whiplash, who, if you don't know, go look it up. Go look up Snidely Whiplash. You'll understand. But outside of that, I think the Mega Stashes event should be something that they look to replicate in other ways for future things. Like, and this kind of goes back to, you know, the idea of Ashen Lords treasures completely obfuscated from looting or being able to see like what it is, because it always spawns when he dies. Same thing with the ghost fleets. It all spawns when the captain ship goes down. Skeleton forts are the only one that I can think of that you can actually like go onto the captain's ship when that ship spawns and see, like, you can actually go down and actually take a look and see what the actual treasure is. I don't even think you probably do need to actually sink it, because I don't think that treasure's all on the ship when it spawns, is it? I don't think so. But I could be wrong about that. It's been a hot minute since I was on a captain ship during a skeleton fleet, where I was actually like, oh, I'm going to go take a look and, you know, take stock on what the treasure is. It's like, nah, just sink it. And then whatever's there rises. So I like this. I think it's great that they're playing around with loot pools this way. I think a little bit of RNG is kind of nice. You know, we used to have that back in the day. I think having this, especially for an event, short period of time, gets people interested in jumping back on. Especially when things get spicy, you know, everyone wants to go fight at a fort kind of thing. So I like it. I think they did a fantastic job. It's exceptionally well done. Next thing I wanted to talk on was actually the next thing that happened this week, or I guess last week, technically, the Great Meg Chase, which is a song that was introduced, or is going to be introduced within the next update, which is going to be on the 24th. That is the final installment for season 15. It brings in the new voyages for the Hunter's Call, where you'll be able to have a voyage to either go hunt down megalodons or going after the boars on islands. So I appreciate that they released the song early. It's a really catchy one. Really love what Robin Beanland and the team over there, Quack and stuff, how they're able to still continue to impress me with new songs that they bring to the game. This one, love it. Has a little bit of like a Western flair, as if I'm watching the movie Maverick or something. Great way to kind of like, it's like a stagecoach chase in my mind. Like, that's what I feel like when I listen to it. So really good song. Really recommend you go check it out. It's going to be available again YouTube Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer, and TikTok if you want. Easiest way, honestly, if you're listening to this podcast over on Spotify, if you don't already have Sea of Thieves added as a artist to follow, first off, missed opportunity. Secondly, you're already good. Just head over there, check out the great Meg Chase, and give that a good listen to. I really appreciated it. So yeah, really great job on the event. I hands down one of the best events I've seen them do in quite a while. Next on today's docket, let's talk about the next frontier for Sea of Thieves. It's going to be over on Battle.net. If you're not familiar, Battle.net, for those of you who are on PC are well aware, if you're a Blizzard fan, is the kind of storefront for a lot of Blizzard Activision titles. Originally, this was something that started up back in like 1995, 96, when you could play Warcraft and Warcraft 2 and Diablo online and against other people. It was always Battle.net was where you had to log into to be able to jump into matches with other people. It's always evolved and always been present. And as years have gone on, it's turned into the storefront and launcher for all of the Blizzard games. Now, originally, this was something that was just for Blizzard games, but when they were bought out by Activision, or merged, I should say, with Activision, that all changed, and we started to see stuff like Crash Bandicoot, Call of Duty, Destiny 2, all start slowly making their way over to Battle.net. And for a long time, a lot of people were very upset about this because it was one of those things where Battle.net was for Blizzard games, and that's how we felt like it should always be. I being part of that person or that group. No, now that we're kind of fast forwarding into the future, now that Microsoft owns Activision Blizzard King, ABK, we're starting to see a lot more crossover. It started out with, I believe it was Tony Hawk Pro Skater. No, it started out with Avowed. Avowed was the first game to be announced that it was going to go to not only just Game Pass in the Xbox app in Steam, but as part of Battle.net. And we started to notice like, okay, well, we've had Call of Duties on here for a while. We've had Crash Bandicoot 4 on here for a while. We've had Tony Hawk for a while. So I guess it only makes sense that now Microsoft is wanting to promote their Xbox studio games over on Battle.net since it's also part of the company. So at first it was like, okay, well, new games coming out, that makes sense. Avowed, then we got announcements for Doom, the Dark Ages. Those would be making their way over to In the Outer Worlds 2 would be making their way over to Battle.net. Now we're finding out Sea of Thieves is making its way over to Battle.net. This is where I feel like marketing is just turned into marketing, because at this point you don't really need to have a reason really to to have Sea of Thieves on Battle.net, except that there are a large portion of gamers, not huge, but a definitely significant amount of gamers that are purely going to go through Battle.net. This is proven to be true, because when I remember when Destiny 2 came out for console and PC, I did not care a hoot about Destiny 2. Didn't even know about Destiny 1, to be perfectly honest. I think the most exposure I had to that was one person who I listened to on a podcast about Apple products mentioned being addicted to Destiny. Didn't understand it, didn't get it. They were talking about how the UI, they'd been playing it so much that it had burned in the UI into their plasma TV. So at this point, I was like, okay, whatever. Destiny 2, congratulations. You're getting put onto my launcher, and now I have to see you on there with all my Blizzard stuff and Crash Bandicoot, whatever. But there are reasons for this. During that time, I 100% was going to try out Destiny 2. They had a trial. I installed it. It was the only, because I don't really do Steam too much. Like, I do buy stuff on Steam and I do get codes for review through Steam, but Steam isn't really like my go-to. My go-to is typically going to be the Xbox app on PC or Battle.net. because most of the games I play are either going to be through Xbox or through Battle.net. Why? Because Game Pass is king. So now that I'm like sitting here with my Battle.net and it's kind of like my own little safe haven, it's where I play Heroes of the Storm. It's where I play Diablo 4. Every once in a while, when I get that itch to play World of Warcraft, I'll start up a trial character on the free version of World of Warcraft, and I'll go do a few levels and get that itch scratched. I haven't even bought the War Within expansion, just like I haven't bought the Destiny 2 expansion. So it's one of those things where it's like, this is where my Blizzard titles live. You know, Overwatch, Diablo, StarCraft, Warcraft, Heroes of the Storm. That's where they all live. Now that I see that Sea of Thieves is coming over to Battle.net, it is clear that Microsoft is trying to get all of their main games, the games that make the most money for Microsoft, which Sea of Thieves does, believe it or not, over to as many launchers, as many eyeballs as they possibly can. And for all intents and purposes, I'm like, sure, whatever. That's fine. I get it. You guys want to have the game everywhere. It does really well. It's one of the most popular games Xbox has ever produced. And kudos to Rare for having one of the most successful IPs since, I don't know. I can't remember. I know Viva Pinata is great, but people aren't playing, Viva Pinata on a regular basis because it's not multiplayer. I can't think of a multiplayer game that people are still playing or talking about or heralding as one of Rare's greatest IPs that they've ever created. But Sea of Thieves is that in a nutshell. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Great. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. Just gonna, it is what it is kind of thing. Then I saw what was going on, and I saw that they are going to be doing some stuff that rubs me the wrong way. And it's not one of those things like, it is what it is. They're going to sell stuff. They're going to attach it to the store and whatnot and stuff like that. But this is one of those things where, like myself, when they were doing beta tests on the Steam client, I was like, I'm going to beta test on the Steam client. I want to make sure they get their best thing. So they gave me the beta code and failed to, well, I don't know if they failed to, it could have been intentional, but they gave me the code for the Steam game. And when the beta was done, you just got the game. Like you just earned the game. There was no there was no purchasing in the Steam version if you were beta testing it. So that's how I got the Steam client version. So fast forward, I bought the Xbox version, which was also the PC version. I bought the PC version because I didn't have an Xbox at the time. So I got access to Play Anywhere, which irony. So fast forward, got the Steam client. So now I've got 3 versions of the game. I bought a physical copy of the game so that I could get it signed by Rare, which I still have. And then I bought another copy of it to have as a backup in case I wanted to use the disc. Ended up giving that to my girlfriend, A-Chick. Then still kind of, I'm still out there looking for an anniversary version of it, on the cheap. But then effectively, I've got 4 copies of the game, right? Xbox, PC, Steam, and then with my PlayStation 5. So I own 4 copies of this game, physically, digitally, on different storefronts, all for reasons. The reason for the PlayStation 5 was I wanted to support the devs, and I wanted to get access to the cosmetics that they were doing for testing out the beta and for pre-purchasing it. Didn't want to necessarily have to drop that money, and then found out that those cosmetics are locked to the PlayStation franchise or to the PlayStation ecosystem. You cannot access the Ruby Stingtide weapon or the sales, the Dauntless Adventurer stuff, I think is what it was, unless you're playing on PlayStation. I was like, well, that sucks, because cosmetics are universal with Sea of Thieves. You can play them and access them on any ecosystem except for a PlayStation in this case. Fast forward, I'm talking about Sea of Thieves coming out on Switch 2. Boy, did they get me. They got me so good. No, they're going to launch it on Battle.net. Why it's not on Epic yet, who knows? But they're launching it on Battle.net. Now, if you have Game Pass and you use Battle.net, you're good. You have the standard edition that's included with Game Pass for $40, which is the normal price for it. You usually find it on sale for $20 though. But they have a deluxe and a premium edition. Now, here's where I'm not a huge fan. The deluxe version comes with not just the base game, the soundtrack, the audiobook for Athena's Fortune, must listen to, or the rough guide to Sea of Thieves ebook, which is kind of like a starter, like it's like an instruction booklet, basically, if you're old enough to remember what those are. But they came out with the pre-purchase for the Cobalt Kestrel weapon selection. Now, this may sound like no big deal, like whatever. I don't even know what the Cobalt Kestrel weapon selection is. Well, it's the Black Sea Dog stuff. If you're not familiar with the Black Sea Dog stuff, it's also known as the Obsidian set. They are releasing a blue-hued version of the Obsidian weapons. And I'm talking the Flintlock, the Blunderbuss, the Saber, the Eye of Reach, as those are pre-purchase bonuses, whether it's on the $40, the $50, or the $60 version of this game. These weapons are locked to that for pre-purchase only. Now, you may be sitting here like, okay, well, Logan, when is it launching? It's expected to release May 22nd, 2025. So you have time to think about this. You know, maybe there's something you can sell that you want to justify this for. But on top of that, that's across the board. But on top of that, the digital deluxe folks get 10,000 gold. The Dire Dark Warsmith weapons bundle, and the closed beta invitation. So already I'm sitting here like trying to do the math in my head as I'm taking a look at this, because I'm like, okay, hold on. How much are these cosmetics? Do I have them? And is it worth me going and actually like getting this set? So for those of you that are curious, the actual weapon set is roughly about, oh, you know what? I didn't even put it on my original evaluation of this because it just has the weapon bundles. Weapon bundles, typically they're roughly about $10 for the full set of weapons. If it doesn't have like the throwing knife and the grapple and all that, usually about $6. So I was kind of like, okay, really? Really? So then I go to the premium edition, right? Looking at the premium edition has everything I just talked about, but it also includes the Dire Dark Warsmith ship collection and crest, the costume, as well as 4 special premium sales, not premium sales. They're not premium. I shouldn't say premium. 4 sales for each of the different IPs that Blizzard has. One for battle.net, one for Overwatch, one for Warcraft, and one for Hearthstone, and one for Diablo. Me over here, the giant like Heroes of the Storm stan, wondering, okay, well, where's my Heroes of the Storm logo, guys? This isn't cool. You got Hearthstone up there? Congratulations. Where's my Heroes of the Storm? That's not a dead game. It's still getting updates, right? So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Plus you get an extra 1,000 ancient coin, which is $10, right? And you get 6 days early access, and you get a season 16 plunder pass, another $10 on there. So $20 in ancient coin worth just for the season 16 and the ancient coins, including 5 different sales. The Dire Dark Warsmith ship collection, crest, costume set, and weapon bundle, as well as 10,000 gold, the Parrot cosmetic selection, and the Cobalt Kestrel weapons selection. And I'm sitting here looking at this and I'm like, this is well over $60 worth of cosmetics. 1, that I don't own, and 2, tied to this premium edition. And they got me. I didn't want to have to spend $60 on Sea of Thieves on a launcher that I don't even need to use because I have it in 2 other PC launchers. But they got me with the Dark Dire Warsmith, which is the blue Warsmith stuff. All of that, legitimately, the Warsmith collection in crest, you're looking at $25 just for that. $10 for the ancient coin, you're up to $35 now. The ship crest is $6 on top of that, so you're up to $41. The costume set's $10, so that's $51 already on top of the sales. 5 different sales, roughly about $5 each. That's $15 there. No, $25 there. I think 25 bucks there, 10,000 gold. And then the pirate cosmetics and the weapons that I didn't even think about, the $6 worth of weapons, plus the season pass, which is 10 bucks. It's just, they got me. I'm so annoyed that they got me. And this is one of those things where, like, looking at the ship sales, they're not special. They're not like super special. There's nothing like elaborate or exceptional about them. They just have they have the color scheme for the IP that they're tied to, and they've got the logo. It's literally just the Overwatch logo, the Hearthstone logo, the Battle.net logo, the Diablo logo, and the Warcraft logo. That's it. And they didn't even give me the Heroes of the Storm one. You could have taken out the Battle.net one and at least graced this with the only MOBA that Blizzard has ever done, and done well. We don't even need to get into the whole, we really don't need to get into Warcraft Rumble, because I understand, like, okay, it's a mobile game. I get it. Like, but so was Hearthstone. Hearthstone started out that way. But you got StarCraft, you got Warcraft, you got Diablo. Those are the main three, right? You're going to walk up to me with Overwatch and expect people to be impressed. The comments on this video, let me tell you, I went over to the YouTube, right, to go check out and see like what was going on with this video, because I was like, oh my God, Blizzard stuff coming to Sea of Thieves. This is fantastic. What do they got? I'm sitting here expecting Lady Sylvanas, the Banshee Queen. I'm expecting her warship to come to the game, which, if you guys haven't seen, is a fan-frickin-tastic warship. I'm expecting the Orgrimmar, like the Doomhammer's ship, Garrosh's warship, to come to the game. Like, there's so many amazing cosmetic ships in Warcraft alone that you could bring over. They have pirates everywhere in Warcraft. You've got them everywhere. They have an entire place called Booty Bay that's run by pirates, predominantly goblins, but that's their own Steamwell cartel. It's fine. But there's so many ships in Sea of Thieves, in World of Warcraft, that you could pull from there. And what do? No, we're just going to do sales. Okay, cool. Well, you got a lot of cool, like, iconography from all of these different IP. Did you want to do anything special for them? No, just the logo. Sorry. The logo, like the main one. Oh, you're talking about the logo that's on the Battle.net one? The one that just has the very plain, like, iconography of what that game is? Yeah, let's go with that. All right. So I can't with these. I did it. I bought it. They got me. I understand. I'm a fool. I'm also like going to GameStop and I'm trading in my second Series S or Series X because they have a really good deal with that and I need to get a Switch too. So I am clearly bad with money and a fool because they got me with this. And I'm so disappointed because there are so many cool things that they could have done with a crossover, especially right after a Diablo or a Destiny 2 collaboration. Like Destiny 2 collaboration, literally on Battle.net. You can play Destiny 2. Actually, no, I take that back. They took it off. I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot they took Destiny 2 off the Battle.net launcher because it was no longer an Activision. It was no longer going to be an Activision IP. Bungie had bought their freedom from Bobby Kotick, only to be scooped up by Jim Ryan, which is a wild thing for Bungie to be working for Sony. But there was a long period of time they're like, hey, you got to transfer your character. You got to transfer it over to Epic or Steam. It's going to get deleted. If you don't want to lose those characters, you better get in there now. Even if you don't plan on playing the game, you better go transfer it because we're taking it off of Battle.net. Me sitting here looking at this and thinking like, oh man, they could easily have done some really cool stuff for these sales. They could have at least offered not the Dire Dark Warsmith set or the Parrot cosmetics, but full-fledged World of Warcraft ships. They could have taken out the Battle.net one and they could have had a Horde and Alliance set. One to represent the Horde, and in my opinion, very easily pick Lady Sylvanas' warship. It is a beautiful thing. Then you pick Anduin's ship from the Alliance, and it would have been amazing. It would have been fantastic. These ships look glorious. I can't even I can't even attempt to describe the beauty of them, because not only would it deafen you from how amazing they are, but it would probably silence my voice forever. You cannot speak these words in a tongue that translates well into in English. It's just, it's not possible. So I'm letting you know, Sea of Thieves really dropped the ball on this. I don't know who was working out this deal, because it feels like a marketing deal. It feels like a cash grab. And I guarantee you it is. The one saving grace is that I didn't do it right away, because I was like, what's this going to be? They did confirm that Battle.net purchasers will be able to equip the exclusive premium edition sails and, if applicable, the pre-purchase Cobalt Kestrel weapons on any PC/Xbox platform. Ho, 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 ho. When I read that, I was like, okay, well, I'm cool with this. Imagine being a PC and PS5 owner. Imagine wanting to have these and be able to predominantly play on PS5. And just think about how mean PlayStation is to their fan base. Not only are they giving them exclusive stuff that you can't play anywhere else, so you can't just jump over from ecosystem to ecosystem with a play anywhere game. You cannot use other cosmetics from other platforms on PlayStation. PC, Xbox, cool, that's fine. We'll find out about PlayStation, or we'll find out about Nintendo when they announce the Switch edition. Not sure when it's going to happen. Trust me. I didn't think it was going to happen for Battle.net. It's most definitely going to happen for Switch 2 at this point. If they're willing to stick Sea of Thieves on Battle.net of all places, guarantee this game from Xbox One is showing up on Switch 2. That is, it has to be a thing. If it's not, I don't know what they're doing. Microsoft is going to make the call. They're going to have to figure it out. They're going to have to hire some people to go digging into whatever it takes to make a game on Switch. And I guarantee you, it's going to be heralded as the return of Rare to Nintendo platforms. And then people are going to be like, so when's Banjo coming? And I have to sit there and laugh at them, because it's not. It's never. So yes, I was very surprised by this. I did spend the $60 after I rationalized the amount of cosmetics that you're getting and why I want them, and that they are cross-platform with Xbox and PC. Looking over on the video, though, to get back to that, I was kind of curious, because Sea of Thieves and its 669,000 subscribers, they must have been very excited to see this, because it's Blizzard sales. There's lots of Blizzard fans. The like to dislike ratio here is amazing. 1.6 thousand people liked this video. That's a pretty small percentage base. We're not even talking 10% of what their actual subscriber base is. 1.6 thousand people liked it. 1.3 thousand disliked it. It almost has a 50-50% ratio of likes to dislikes. The comments are wild. Sailing around with Overwatch sales. Might as well write "sink me" on the side of the ship. Sea of Thieves is now an advertisement board. Lamau. All 6 Battle.net exclusive users must be going wild. Not the Overwatch sales. Dead. Sales are awesome looking, but this is turning the game into a billboard of ads for other games. This is literally just the Overwatch logo on a sail. Lamau. I'm exclusively sinking ships with Overwatch sales from now on. Is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke? I'm not logging in again until I can play it on my N64. If I get sunk by people with Overwatch sales, I'm done. Oh, good. More exclusive cosmetics. Just what everyone wants. Thanks, Rare. Can't wait for the Coca-Cola sales. Why would this even need a beta? It's just the PC version on a different launcher. This is how I find out Battle.net still exists. The comments are eating away at Rare, because at the end of the day, this legitimately just looks like a cash grab for people on platforms that aren't accessing the game through Game Pass, that aren't accessing the game through the Xbox app, that don't have the Steam version. It is just to get storefront viewership and to try and bait fans in of actual Blizzard IPs to a game that they wouldn't normally play. And I know this, it works so well. It works so well, because I guarantee you, like, I'm looking at what Blizzard's doing. And I see, hey, Blizzard, what are you doing over at Overwatch? Oh, we've got Gundam Wing cosmetics coming to the game. I'm sorry, what? Gundam Wing? Yeah. Do you guys have a partnership with Cartoon Network? Because it was Cowboy Bebop before this. And there's been some other good crossovers and stuff like what Gundam Wing? Like it feels like Toonami is making a resurgence within the Overwatch team cosmetic department. So then I go over to Diablo. Hey Diablo, you guys doing anything weird crossovers? They're like, oh yeah. You know that anime series Berserk? I'm like, yeah. That was a good manga, good TV show. Kind of freaky towards the end. They're like, oh yeah, we're bringing Guts' sword and armor to the warriors in Diablo. I'm like, oh, okay. Was that something that we wanted? And they're like, yeah, that's something you wanted, right? And I was like, I didn't remember asking for that, but sure. Yeah, no, that's cosmetics. Add them to the microtransactions in the store. So I know I love my crossover stuff. It's fun. It's Fortnite-y. I don't take games seriously to the point where it's going to upset me that much. But when I look at what they're doing versus what they've done, that's when I start to get a little like, where's my soapbox? Because you can't show me the Destiny 2 collaboration that took years to come to fruition and then look at what they're doing for BattleNet and tell me, yeah, we worked real hard on this one. No, you didn't. These are garbage compared to what you did for Destiny 2. I don't believe for a second that the art team had any severe impact on this. You're literally releasing content that's either already existing or slight color variants of cosmetics that we already have with the Ebon set, the Obsidian set. And then you're giving us sails, not even like a crest, not even a hull, just sails that are two-toned theme with a logo. This is probably the most lazy I've seen like from this. Like at least the PlayStation 5 people got the Dauntless Adventurer stuff, which is a tie back to the beta players back before 2018 who got the adventurer sales where you got like the really cool little logo on your ship on a sails. And it's like, hey, if you're a Brave Vanguard, you got these sails, but you had to sign up for the forums prior to 2018. And if you did, you know who you are. You're an old salt. PlayStation 5 people got something like that in the way of the Dauntless one. If I'm remembering the name, I could be wrong about the name. It's been a while since I looked at it because it's been a while since I booted up my PlayStation. But then I go over and I look at this BattleNet stuff and I'm like, no, this is lazy. I dropped the ancient coin on the Destiny 2 stuff because it was so well done. It was thoughtful. It was beautiful. Like they did a good job. I tout the Drifter cosmetic and the exotic weapon set as one of the best crossovers they've done for Sea of Thieves. Like legit, hands down, one of the best collaborations next to like Pirates of the Caribbean. They understood the homework assignment and they nailed it. I'm looking at this BattleNet stuff and I'm just like, fam, this ain't it. Like if there was any way that you could ever go in and say, hey, we heard the feedback, we're going to do better, this would be one of those things that I'd be like, do not shill out your stuff for BattleNet like this. It's not good cosmetics. Like, yes, I'm buying it because the value's there and I want to have that stuff. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's impressive. I think it's lazy. And you know, you guys know I try not to be negative about this stuff too much. But this is legit. Like I've been a fan of Blizzard about as long as I've been a fan of Rare. I played Donkey Kong Country on the SNES and I played Warcraft on my PC at the same time. Like those were the two games. Like I've had those two companies in my childhood growing up. Like it's one of those things that I'm just like, guys, this could have been so much cooler. It could have been so much cooler. We didn't have to have the Dire Warsmith stuff in there. We didn't have to have the pirate stuff, the parrot stuff in there. You could have literally taken any sword from the game, any sword from Warcraft, and put it in this bundle. And it would have been 100 times cooler than the stupid stuff that they're doing, which is the recolors of the Obsidian set. I can't tell you if you guys had told me like, hey, we're gonna take Anduin's sword. Now, okay, this is gonna be it's gonna be a deep dive for Blizzard or for Warcraft fans. But I'm telling you right now, there's a reason for it. The sword that Anduin uses is one that was given to him by his father. His father earned it from doing battle and like surviving as a gladiator. It splits into two, and they have Elvish names, which I'm going to butcher, so I'm not even going to try it. But the sword itself is like Charlemagne, I think is what it's called. And Charlemagne is just, it is part, it's up there with, you could have done Frostmourne. You could have done Frostmourne, legitimately done Frostmourne from the Lich King as the sword. And that would have been a cooler cosmetic than a blue version of the Obsidian Blade. You want the flintlock pistol in the game? That's cool. You know who's got a really like essential flintlock kind of weapon? Tracer from Overwatch. You could have used one of her pistols. They sell Nerf guns of it. It is very, very popular. People know the look of that gun. You could have made that version for that. You did it for Halo. Why didn't you do it for BattleNet? Why didn't you do it for Overwatch? If you were going to bring Overwatch to the game, this was not the way to do it. It wasn't just a pair of sails and just a logo with a two-tone sail. I'm trying to think of a blunderbuss that they could have used. You could have used the blunderbuss from Warcraft that the Tavern Keeper could be using, or Rexar could be using. I don't know if Rexar uses it. Rexar, there's characters in Hearthstone that are Warcraft characters. There are blunderbusses in that game that you could use as a blunderbuss for a weapon bundle with this. Then you've got the Eye of Reach. I'm trying to think of ways that you could do this. I don't think that you could do it through Diablo. I don't think you could do it through Warcraft. And I don't think you could do it through, you could do it through Overwatch, but we've already done Overwatch. So you know who else has a good sniper in Blizzard IP? StarCraft. Nova is an exceptional ghost in the StarCraft series. Her sniper rifle is part of Heroes of the Storm. It's her main weapon. It is essentially the weapon for most ghosts in StarCraft. You could easily replicate that looking at what you did with Whisper of the Worm for the Destiny 2 collaboration. That is 4 weapons you could easily do if you wanted to do a weapon bundle to celebrate the launch of the Battle.net version. Take some of the IP from the games that you were giving sales for and put those as the weapons, as opposed to the blue hued version of the Obsidian set. And I just, it really frustrates me because it's so apparent how lazy this is. There are so many cooler ideas that I could just, and it doesn't even have to be Blizzard that tells you this stuff. You have team members at Rare that play these games. I know because I've talked to them about that, and they could easily sit there and be like, yeah, this would be a good weapon for a bundle. If we wanted to do some custom weapons like we did for Destiny for the Battle.net launch, we could easily come up with some. Frostmourne right there. Boom, sword. Consider it done. Congratulations. You just sold 1 million copies on the Battle.net version because so many Blizzard fans know and respect what Frostmourne means to the IP, and you didn't do it. And it's so lazy. It just frustrates me because I'm such a fan of Blizzard and I'm such a fan of Rare. And this was the one time where they were going to be able to launch the game on Battle.net if they wanted to do that, and they could have done something really cool, but they still got me. You know why? Because I'm a sucker. I'm still buying this stuff because I want to have that crossover stuff, but it could have been so much better. You have every opportunity now to go forward and say, now that we have this relationship, we're going to start coming out with IP specific Emporium content that is going to be dedications, testaments to the long-standing IP. World of Warcraft has been around since the 90s. StarCraft has been around since the 90s. Diablo has been around since the 90s. You can't tell me you can't afford a little bit of the cosmetic team to be working on creating stuff. Here's an idea. Reach out to Blizzard. Ask them to come up with some models. Everyone still uses the same programs. Everyone still understands Unreal Engine. It's not that hard to create models and then import them into other games. Hell, they were trying to do this when they wanted to come up with the idea for NFTs. Nobody wanted to do it, but you could at least ask like the team, like Heroes of the Storm team used to talk to Overwatch and be like, hey guys, can we have the models for these characters. We're looking to bring them over to Heroes of the Storm. Like, yeah, sure, go ahead. Here you go. Here's the reference models. Take a look at them, create your version of it within your game using as much resources as you need to. This is all Microsoft. There's no reason why these companies can't be talking to each other, why these studios can't be exchanging ideas, thoughts, stuff like that. But it comes down to the marketing people. What do we want to do? We want to get Battle.net to have Sea of Thieves so we can get more eyeballs on Sea of Thieves because it brings in so much monthly active users and revenue. Okay, so what are we going to do to incentivize them? Well, we could do something that we do with the PlayStation people, but we can't make it exclusive because it's all Microsoft IP. Okay, so what are we going to do? Well, we could do a rehash on a couple things here, do some sales for the different IPs that Blizzard has, and then toss in some of the Emporium content as like an incentivization, plus a little bit of ancient coin, some gold, stuff like that. Okay, sounds good. Awesome. How long did that take? One meeting. It makes me sad. It just makes me so sad because it could have been so much cooler, especially after looking Destiny 2. You cannot point to Destiny 2 collaboration and then look at these pre-purchase items and tell me that they put in the same amount of effort, because they didn't. And if they did, disappointing. Absolutely disappointing. But I still bought it, and I'm going to do the same thing again in some future time when they do the same thing. And it's the Switch 2, and they've got a mushroom and a freaking Mario mustache on the stupid sales. And I guarantee you I'm not going to buy any more Emporium sets, because whatever Emporium set they stick with that pre-purchase better not be one that I already own, because I'm not gonna be able to justify the $60 for that over there either. And we'll get a red version of the Obsidian set. Congratulations, I just came up with your Switch 2 pitch for the premium edition over there. Didn't even have to change anything. You just hot swap it, change the color palette, add some Emporium items, put some icons on the sails, call it good. Imagine having a warp pipe capstan or a warp pipe steering wheel. Imagine if you had warp pipe cannons. It'd be stupid ridiculous. But you could have a cannon flare that has little stars and little sparkles come out of it. Imagine a warp pipe cannon. Thinking about a capstan, trying to think of a capstan. Hell, you'd have a piranha plant with its leaves that you grab onto and you just push. God, there's so many better ideas out there for some things. And I just hate when Rare, who does really good work, phones it in because of marketing. All right, I've waxed on about this far too long. I'm going to step down here from my soapbox. All right, I'll put it back in storage for a while because I don't know. I'll need it later at some point in the future. I'm sure there will be some other reason for me to get on a soapbox, but hopefully not for a while. So yeah, Sea of Thieves coming to Battle.net. Clap, please. Outside of that, guys, we got the new video that's coming out. We're going to have another video coming out this week from Rare doing a deep dive on the update. Servers are going to go down 2 a.m. Pacific time, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the patch, pending everything goes well on it. So far, it seems like everything's going to be fine for this update on the 24th, the day that Switch 2s go on sale for pre-order. And we're probably going to have the Boars come in, which are going to be a new voyage for Hunter's Call. We're also going to have the new Megalodon voyages where you can use a spyglass to go hunting for Megalodon based on chasing them throughout the sea. I love what it looks like. I can't wait to jump in and find out like how these are actually going to work. But at the moment, I don't know the details on that. And if I did, it would probably still be under the insider's NDA. So we'll have to hold off on that for the time being. But expect a video for the deep dive this week, probably going to be Tuesday, I would imagine. And then we'll kind of find out, more details about the actual patch notes going into season 16 and the end of this one during this week. So with that, let me take a look and see if there's anything that I need to make sure that you guys, real quick. Before I let you go, don't forget, there is new Twitch drops that are coming out. That's going to be from April 25th, the day after the patch on that Friday, through to the 28th of April. So 10 a.m. UTC. So that weekend, this coming weekend, which is going to be the Gold Hoarder episode. So anyone that's a Gold Hoarder, if you want to jump in for the episode, same time, place as ever. If you have any questions, just feel free to jump into Discord and ask away. But the Twitch drops that we're getting, we are actually getting the bucket and the drum. Funny enough, I thought it was just going to be the bucket. I wasn't quite sure about the drum, but yes, for sure, we are most definitely going to be getting the Stormy Sea Dog bucket and drum, the Stalwart Sea Dog cutlass, and the Seasoned Sailor rapier, as well as the Rising Morning Star eye patch. So all together, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items. Don't know if it's 5 hours or 4 hours, but I would anticipate 5 hours of viewing. This is going to be something that's available for any streamer. Chances are I will probably be streaming that weekend. So if you do need Twitch drops, I'm probably going to be doing Twitch drops on Sunday, I think, is going to be the day that I'm going to be able to stream, because I'm going to be doing other streams for Xbox Expansion Pass where I'm playing spooky games for the road to SGF, as we're raising money to pay for the costs of flying out, hotel, food, all that good jazz for Summer Games Fest, which I'm going to be covering for XEP. So we're working on scheduling appointments for interviews and content, stuff like that. So just as a heads up, that's kind of what's going to be going on after the Keelhauled Gold Hoarder episode that Sunday. So this Sunday we're going to be doing, or this Saturday we're going to be doing the Gold Hoarder episode. Sunday I'll probably be streaming Sea of Thieves for Twitch drops if you need them still. But I think that's going to do it, folks. So if you guys have any questions, comments, corrections, always more than welcome to jump into the Discord. Keelhauled Discord has a channel in there for Keelhauled feedback. More than welcome to let me know what you find out, or anything that I missed or changed. Definitely let me know your thoughts, feelings, opinions like that, either on the YouTube or in the Discord. But yeah, that's the main important dates. That's the content that we got this week. I'm looking forward to finding out more about the boars and the Megalodon voyages for the Hunter's Call, because I think that those are going to be unique to the game for once. We're actually going to have something that's kind of cool showing up in there. So going to be looking forward to that. So Pirates, thank you. I love you, and I look forward to sailing with you on the Sea of Thieves.